Well, the news is never dull around West Ham, that's for sure. It was only a couple of days ago that I was asking you for ideas for videos, and thank you very much for everybody that sent those ideas in. Myself and Gio have just sat down and worked and done 6 separate videos for all your ideas, which we'll be releasing on both channels over the next couple of days. Now, I was going to feature one of those videos today, and honestly, we've had some really cracking ideas, but. Well, we often talk about their manager Will Still flashing his knickers at West Ham and saying, "Come and get me." It now appears that a Paris St Germain midfielder, which is easy for me to say, has been flashing his knickers at our own Declan Rice. I say our own Declan Rice, by the way, not for very long. And saying, come and join me at Paris St Germain. And that's Marco Verratti. Now, there's been a lot of stuff about Declan Rice in the last few days, and particularly with regard to Declan Rice's replacement at West Ham. Now, I cannot for the life of me get too invested in Declan Rice's replacement at West Ham because, well, if we go down to the Championship, Declan Rice's replacement's already here. It's Flynn Downs. We don't need to look any further with that. Now, I would love Flynn Downs to be more involved with the first team anyway. I think he's a really good player. I don't think he's been given a fair chance, particularly when you factor in how poorly the midfield has been performing this season. He's got so many good attributes that are needed as a midfielder. He's a West Ham boy. I would have loved to see him play more. However, if West Ham are going to remain in the Premier League, then obviously we'll be looking to bring another midfielder in. We can't just sell Declan Rice, not bring another midfielder in. I think Souček's been poor this season. Really poor. And actually, myself and Gio have just done a video based on, I'm just trying to look for the article here, based on an some Opta stats, which an article they put out. They deal with West Ham's stats this season in comparison to our past 2 seasons. Souček's numbers are awful. I know we've looked at it before in terms of individual games, like he's made 9 passes in 90 minutes and stuff like that. It's not a laugh, it's not funny, but we were making the comment that it's only one pass every 10 minutes. It's not good enough. His numbers are down. So anyway, my point is I think there's room for Flynn Downs to be more involved anyway. But if we do sell Declan Rice, then we need to bring somebody else in. We'll deal with a couple of people that have been linked to us in just a second. But my point is, it's hard to take it seriously because we don't know what division we're going to be in. Who's to know who we're going to replace Declan Rice with? Verratti, who is a very good player, an excellent player. I don't know why he was particularly talking about Declan Rice. I guess it's because the international coming up and he's got asked about him. But he said, "I really like Declan Rice." He said, "He provides a great balance to the team and he has wonderful physical attributes. I hope he ends up at a top side. I would very much like to see him." Well, okay, that is him saying very much, I'd like him to sign for Paris St Germain. Look, you could say he's blowing hot air up his what's it. Maybe he is. He's just in a press conference. Obviously, England have got the match coming up. But this is a player who's known on the continent, and it's even more important at the moment because I think a lot of people have just assumed he's going to go and sign for Arsenal, which I think is a really bad thing. What we need is we need an auction, don't we? So earlier on this week, we've had a situation where nobody ever does this officially, but Manchester City have also entered the race for his signature as well, apparently. Well, this is what we need. At West Ham, we could really do. He's going. Declan Rice is going. And by the way, I don't subscribe to the theory that he's not giving his all at West Ham. I don't think he's checked out. I don't think that Declan Rice wants it on his CV that he's going to go down. I think he does care about the club. I think he wants to take West Ham down. I think he wants to keep West Ham up. And I think he wants to lift that trophy. What trophy? Well, the Conference League, the Europa Conference League trophy. I believe all that to be the case. However, if we do accept that he is going, we need the best price possible. Get him relegated isn't. I don't agree. Some people say that his value will drop by half if we go down. I just don't agree with that at all. I've never subscribed to the fact we're getting 100 million from him anyway. But what we do need, if we do go down, is we need a bit of an auction. Man City entering the fray, I think, is important. There's no doubt about it. Man City would have been shocked. Not that Arsenal have done well under Arteta, as I think they were on the up anyway. But I think the fact that they're above them and have been better than them this season, that would have been a bit of a shocker. It looks like they got their forward line sorted out. I mean, they lost Cancelo, didn't they? Which is going to be a big loss for them. But I would imagine they will probably feel that they could be doing something else in midfield. Them entering the race is really good. Paris St Germain being interested is really good. What we really need is for Declan Rice not to be saying that's it, I'm going to Arsenal and it's nobody else, because that does not help our bargaining position. At that point, West Ham have got to play hardball. West Ham have got to say, well, no, we'll decide where you're going, but we just won't accept the bid. So, basically, we don't want is Arsenal saying, well, we'll take him for 60 million, because basically he's not going to go anywhere else, whilst Man City and Paris St Germain are offering 85 million. So to speak. If Arsenal want him, Arsenal are going to have to pay the going rate. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it is 85 million. I'd be interested to know what you think below. I think he's a really good midfielder. Souness, he's been given him. He does like to go at Declan Rice. And I think that's because obviously Souness was, I guess, not a dissimilar midfielder himself. Really, really good midfielder for Liverpool. And Declan Rice has come out. I think, he's done a couple of interviews with England. Not I don't blame him for defending himself, but I think there is a perception outside of West Ham about what Declan Rice is, and we know, because we watch him week in, week out, he is quite technical. He has a wonderful ability, actually. If he's closed off, he has the ability to dribble out of presses, which I think is, that's a good skill. Should he score a few more goals? He should, but I think he will. I think he's certainly got the technique doing so. You look at the goals he has scored, he uses good technique. He travels with the ball well. Look, you West Ham fans, you don't need me to describe what sort of player Declan Rice is. He's a bloody good player, right? And I don't think he's quite as bad as Souness makes out. In terms of the replacements for him, let me just bring this article up here. It's a really interesting one. Frank McAvenny has said that Calvin Phillips or Lewis Ferguson. I am not going to pretend that I know anything about Lewis Ferguson. McAvenny said, I always thought the boy Ferguson, when he played at Aberdeen before he went to Bologna, now he's at Inter Milan. Now he's got Inter Milan and Juventus fighting for him. I think it'd be a really good replacement for Declan. He's that kind of player. He says it's not going to happen now. Oh, okay, right, it's not going to happen now. But and the other one, he says Calvin Phillips. Ideal replacement would be Calvin Phillips. I couldn't understand why Southgate would play the two of them together. I sort of agree with that, but Southgate's a bit cautious, as we know. I think that would be a bad one. I've got to say, that is not a transfer that's worked out well for Man City. He has spent so much time injured. We said it last season when we were linked to him. We bid £50 million. It was in the winter window of last season. We bid 50 million for him. I think it's something like that. His injury record wasn't great then. It's not been great since he went to Manchester City. And, we're happy enough on this channel we've done videos recently where we've researched Zuma's injury record, haven't we? We've researched Maxwell Cornet's injury record. Well, by the same token, the evidence is there that Calvin Phillips was, it would not be a great acquisition. Look, there's a couple of younger players who really would be good signings. I'm keeping my powder dry on one of them, because myself and Gio mentioned the guy when we're doing our appraisal of which teams think will get relegated this season. So we'll leave that for another video. But I know he looks a very, very good player, and I know Gio rates him very highly. So there's someone there who's probably would be a better punt than this one. But you need a brave manager to do that. Do I think we should sign Calvin Phillips as a replacement for Declan Rice? No. Do I think that David Moyes would? Absolutely bloody yes. Yes, I do. And I think that's another reason that we can't take a lot of these reports seriously, which is, with regard to who we bring in next season. I think we can take the reports of Declan Rice leaving very seriously. The reports of, Paris St Germain or Manchester City or Arsenal wanting him, that we can take seriously. Who replaces him? We can't, because it's not just what division we'll be in. It's the manager. Look, I know I've run videos on it myself. The board have very much indicated David Moyes is going to be here next season, regardless. I find that hard to believe, and I just think we can't be letting him buy any players anyway. And it would stand to reason that if anyone comes in, they're going to want to buy their own midfielder, right? But be your stipulation, wouldn't it? If you're going to come in and take over from David Moyes, You're going to say, okay, I'll do that. But by the way, I would like to be the one spending the Declan Rice money, which I do think is important. So, well, actually, to be fair, yesterday, I think David Sullivan did pretty much indicate that he thought Phillips was a little bit too injury prone. And rightly so. At some point, the owner has to step in. Even if the manager's saying, I want that player, at some point, the owner has to step in and say, I'm not sanctioning whatever it might be. I doubt they'd get 50 million for Phillips. I doubt they get their money back. But whatever it is, the owner to be saying, oh, you know what, I'll sanction that for him. The owner has to say, I'm not sanctioning that kind of money for an injury-prone player, particularly with the wages that he'll be on. Anyway, there you go. We got to say thank you very much for all your suggestions. We've got a lot of videos coming out over the next few days due to your suggestions. Not never easy to know what to speak about during the international break. But that's it. Look, Paris St Germain interested in Declan Rice. So says Marco Verratti. And Arsenal obviously interested in Declan Rice. Man City in for Declan Rice. Maybe a bidding war. We know he's going. We hope there's a bidding war. It'll just be interesting to see what the price goes up to.